Okay, so if you hit bugs or problems, we want to hear about them because we want to get them to the software developers, to the system so they can address them. So you're not necessarily bothering us, you're helping us. So don't be afraid to report issues. If we can't solve them right away, we'll put a ticket in so that somebody addresses them when they get a chance. So we're going to talk a little bit about the kinds of trainings that we do. Giacomo and I do a large number of trainings, but there's other resources that you might be able to use for some of the issues you get into. So
Bob, sorry, I think you're not sharing your slides in the big screen. Sorry about that.
Oh.
There we go.
I'm glad you keep me honest here. So we have several types of trainings we offer. One is the system administration. That's usually a smaller group before you cascade the hordes of users onto the system, because that will mean that you have less issues when they do get on. Then we do this training workshop where we do something like 4 half days or a couple full day sessions with hands-on exercises. And we've done 50 to 90 participants. What we don't like to do is 5 participants because it just doesn't scale. So we want to get the information out about the software, the resources that you have, both for system administrators and for our users. After a site's been up 6 months to a year and you're starting to get applications running and you're hitting problems, or you want to optimize, we'll typically do a hackathon. And that'll usually be 8 to 10 teams of 3 or 4 people on each team. We try to get 2 people on site for that. The training in the system administration, we usually do virtual. And it's because it's easier for people to connect, from their own office. And so trainings, it actually works better quite often to do virtual workshops, unless we got a lot of people at one site. So the hackathons, if you've got a point in time that a hackathon makes sense, you'll talk to Robert there, because Robert's the responsible party, and we'll see what we can schedule. Okay, we'll see what resources we can get for that hackathon. Often we get local site sysadmins to help with that, because they often know the applications better and can help with some of those issues. We do customize all our training, because every site has different focus on what software they use. And if you give us more of an idea of what your use patterns are, we'll focus on those topics. So there are a bunch of lab notes and Rockham blogs. So if you search those, you'll often find all sorts of topics that some of our staff have written a detailed notes about to share with people. So here we're seeing some of the early ones we have, finite difference method, profiling tools, sparse matrix vector multiplication, MI300A, exploring the APU advantage. And so you might find some of these interesting. And they're usually very deep on one topic that one of our engineers has some expertise on. Something you might be interested is in affinity. We have a couple of those talks or blogs. And they're coming out all the time. We also have a lot of, every site that we do presentations at, they usually record them. Some of them are posted publicly. So we had EPCC, that's Edinburgh, posted a bunch of recordings. HLRS really had a good suite of recordings from a workshop, so, and a really nice web page for them. They have the slides, the videos, and some of the exercises. So that can be a good resource. And it may be a refresher for you, but it's also very convenient to be able to listen to the video at 1.5 times speed, so you can get through it quicker and just slow down on the sections that are the most important. So there was April 2024, they did one, in May 2025. So they usually do a yearly one. Oak Ridge has a bunch of presentations they keep in their archive, and we've done many of those presentations. So here's a list of them. The dates are kind of old here. We've done more recent ones. And Oak Ridge is a really good site. They have they add a lot of information to the technical details that we give them. This is CCS in Sweden, and we did a lot of videos there. They're getting kind of dated now. And then there's a lot more software documentation. The Rockham documentation site is actually getting pretty good. It's just hard to find some things in there. You have to jump from page to page, but if you look hard enough, there's quite a bit of information. We have a book on HIP programming. That's a good resource for HIP. The Oak Ridge Quick Start Guide, User Guide, those are really, really well done. So you may want to look at that. It's good reference. Now that's for the MI250, but a lot of that still applies. There's a series of books that I can recommend. Here is that HIP book out of our education outreach group. OpenMP book is good. It's a lot of the OpenMP books are old and they don't include target offload. This one is recent enough to have target offload. And then there's my book on parallel and high performance computing, which gives you a lot of the broad background for HPC that you may want to have available. That book covers data structures, algorithms, CPU, both vectorization and threading, MPI, all the vendors' GPUs, CUDA, OpenMP, OpenACC, COCOS. It also includes examples of how to write HDF5 output, tools. So it's very broad. And that was written for like an upper division undergraduate course or a early graduate school course. Yuli is at NVIDIA now, so she was my co-author. And I found out from some of my interns from University of Colorado Boulder that they could actually check the book out from the university library up in Boulder. There's a digital copy of it, so they didn't even have to buy it. They just checked it out, which is kind of neat because we get far more people having access to the material. So, and I think that summarizes all the additional training materials that are out there. Questions? I think that wraps it up. There are resources out there. They're just not always as easy to find.
Great wrap up, Bob. And thanks everyone for sticking with us through this intensive round of presentations, multi-day, multi-time zone.
Yeah, and keep in touch. We do sometimes different sites will have special presentations that they want for their users. If you have a topic and we can do that, we'll squeeze in an hour or two presentation at 2 a.m. Is that right, Giacomo? We always do them at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's when we give our best, when the juices are really flowing.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll go ahead and conclude.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bob. I'll see you in the next time zone. Safe travels back. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Hopefully you found all that useful. It's a lot of material and there's little nuggets here and there. But it is a lot to sit through.
Probably we need to follow up all the material and also probably give you a question.